to this point, up to this point, I know all of us know how to create a new project. So I will quickly go through this. So I'll go to View, Command Palettes. I'll just select Flutter New Projects. I'll select Application. That's what we want to create. And now to open a dialog for me to go and select where I want to save my projects. So normally, if you have your C or your D drive, you can create a folder and call it project and probably save all your project that you'll be building into it. So me, I already have a folder. And when I go to my documents, I go to, let me say, projects. I'll select Flutter. I do Android and Swift as well as web, so that's why I've created all these folders. So I have Flutter. Inside the Flutter, I have a lot of projects in here. So I'll select the Flutter as my project destination where I should save my project I'm going to create. And I'll select this folder. I'll come and give this one a name. So let me name it, let's say, profile. Today we are going to build a profile page. So all of us will build a profile page at the end of this class. So let me say profile app. I'll click enter. I know Monday, James will be taking you through another segment. And I think when we get there, you guys will know the beauty and have the beauty of Flutter. Today, we are going to go through what we did the last time so that we can quickly move on to what we want to learn today. So it creates a template for us. Automatically, it creates this function called the void main. So the moment we click on run, it will call this run app. That is run application for us. And it will ask which application should it run. It will come and call this my app, which is the class that they created for us. That's the template. It will call this class, which is using the material app. That is from the Google's material app library. And this one will run this whole class for us. We can choose to delete all these. So normally this is a template that they give. So you first of all, let's run this and let's go through what we have. Okay, it's running on my phone. Oh, sorry. Okay, fine, no problem. Let me show this. Let me show my phone on the screen. Okay. Okay, so let's wait for this to build. So we have this template that we are going to use. But then when we have this project, the most important part of the project is this part. That is the main part. All the others are not necessary. So they are all templates that they are just given to us. We can delete and build all of them from scratch. So we don't need all of them. So we can delete all this, but then we will first wait for it to build and then we can take it from there. For the first time, normally when we are trying to build, it takes a lot of time. It takes like 1 minute, 2 minutes to build. But then when it's done building, you're good to go. You can just be reloading and using the hot reload and hot restart. So for that one, let's wait for the first one to finish building, and after that, we can use the hot reload. But then up to this point, from last session and the previous sessions, if you have any question or you have any thing that is buzzing your mind, you don't understand, you can just bring it up and let's clarify it. Is there anything that you guys would like to ask or you would like to know concerning those that we went through last time? Okay, so you can see my screen, right? So you can see this the main template that they give to us, and that is this class, the my app class, which determines the first page that we should run. So let's go and delete this whole thing. Let's write our own over here. So first of all, let's create. So we don't want their template, so we are going to start from scratch. So let's say, let's create a class. So the short form of creating a stateless widget. Last time we were talking about stateless widget and stateful widgets. When we say cashless, something like no cache. The same when we say stateless, it means this particular page has no state. It doesn't change, it doesn't do anything. So, but when we say stateful or cacheful, it means we have a lot of cache. When we say it's the same thing when we say stateful, it means it has states. That's when you click on a button, you see that the button, the text will be changing. So that is stateful. The state of the text can change, and it can change from, let's say, from color blue to color red, from color red to color yellow, or the value in the text can change. So normally when you are extending these kind of widgets, that will determine whether the children widget that you have can change their state or not. So for us, let's use the main, let's create our own class. Let's say class, let me use the short form, you use STLS. The moment you type STLS, the ID, that's Visual Studio Code or Android Studio, will give you a suggestion that, okay, which one do you want to use? So it will give you stateless widget automatically, that one. So I'll just type, click enter, and it will just create this thing for me. And to just leave this space for me, that I should just enter the class name. So someone should give me a class name. Can someone give me a class name? Okay, fine. So let me say this is our, let's say, main app. So if you click on run right now, the app should call this run app application. That is, it should run our application, and it will ask which application do you want to run. Let's say it should come and run our main application that we've just created right now. This one. So it will run this one. But then we need to make sure that we conform to either the material design or the Apple design, that's the Cupertino design. So first of all, let's use the material design so that it will, all the designs will conform to the material app. And this material app, you know, at the top here, there's a debug icon over there. Normally, when you run applications or you are using application, you will not see this debug there. Have you ever seen an application with this debug banner here? It's not needed, so we need to just take it off. So what we will do is we will say debug show check mode banner. Normally the default is true, always is true, that's why it's showing. So what we need to do is just put it to false, and therefore this thing will just vanish away. Now, this is what we've done, but then we don't have any page that is going to run for us. So what we are going to do is we need to say that, okay, fine, if this material app or this class that we've created is running, we are going to have a lot of screens to create. So let's take, normally I'll take WhatsApp for instance. WhatsApp has got a lot of screens, but then always when you open WhatsApp, it needs to open just one screen for you before you can navigate to go to all the other screens. So over here, you will state that, okay, fine, the home page, that is the home, should be a particular class, but then we've not created any class. So let's go and create a class. I can create a class here. I can still create another class here, but then I want my code to be nice, and I don't want my just one file to contain a lot of class. Assuming in the future I create like, let's say 100 classes, and I need to do some changes in it, I have to be just scrolling before I can find that class. So normally it's not advisable to be creating a lot of classes in one file. So I'll just go to my lib folder. I've told you that is currently we are using the lib folder. That's where we'll be doing most of our work. So I'll go to, and we have the main.dat. That's where we are right now. This is the file that we are in, main.dat. So let's go to the lib folder and go and create a new file, so that if the files become plenty, like we have like 100 files, we just come here, the lib folder, we open it, and we just look at the file name and just directly we go into the file. It will be better than we scrolling through this class like hundreds of classes. That's not good. It's not a good practice. So right now, this class that we've created, when we run the app will run this main class for us. But then this class is looking for the first page to open for us. And we don't have any first page. So we are going to create a page that when we run this particular app, this will call the home, and the home will call that first page for us. So let's go to the main.dat. Let's create a new file. Let's say our profile page. That is what we're going to do today. Profile_page. And when you're creating a file, always it should end with .dat. Android Studio will not do this, but then for Visual Studio Code, we will do this. So profile page.dat. So to create a new file, and this file is empty. So what we need to do is we need to create another class. When we talk of a class which extends stateless. The moment it extends stateless widget or stateful widget, it returns like a screen, like the screen that we are seeing right now, that you can click on a button and you see the changes. So let's create another stateless widget. What is the shortcut of creating a stateless widget? I just said that. Do you guys remember? What's the shortcut for creating a stateless widget? Anyone to help? Or I should mention names. No one? Okay, fine. If no one is responding, let me see. I have Simon. Yes, Simon. What's the shortcut of creating a stateless widget?
So you type STL,
okay.
Then you select a stateless widget.
Okay, that's cool. So you type STL S, or the moment you type STL, it will come. You add S, it will come. So the first one is Flutter stateless widget, and you just click enter. It will just create this for you and just leave a space for you that, okay, write your class name. Already we said we want to create a class called profile page. So let me, and normally classes, you need to write classes beginning with as the, let me say, the normal convention that we use. Classes should have names starting with capital letter. Yeah, so profile, and I'm using the camel case. So the next one, the page will be capital. So that's how we normally use you can write them small letters, fine, but then when you are out there, like the convention that we use, the rule that we normally follow, it should be a capital letter for a class name. And now when we are done creating this class name, you see that we have the stateless widget underlined, the widget underlined. Who can tell me the reason why the stateless widget is underlined? Anyone having any clue?
We need to import the material.dat.
Great. So this stateless widget is not a class that we have. It is found in the Google Material Library, and we don't have it. So we need to import it into this file before we can start using this stateless widget. So normally we have something called intention actions. That's the ID normally gives us, or the Android Studio also gives us, either Visual Studio or Android Studio. So the moment I put the cursor onto where the red icon is, it will give me this light bulb. And this light bulb is the intention, sorry, the intention actions. So the moment I click on it, it will tell me that what do you want to do? It will give you all those intentions, the actions. And I'll say, okay, fine, import. You know, it's giving me imported from the Cupertino, that is from Apple. But we don't want the Apple one. Let me increase this a bit. Okay, cool. So when I put it on this, it will ask me import from Cupertino, that is Apple design or Google. So we want to use the Google design. So I'll import from material. And then when I import, now stateless widgets and other things becomes the red now vanishes. So now let's go and set this profile page as our home page so that when we run our application, let's go back to this file. So that when we run our application, the application will come and call our profile page for us. And normally when you are calling a class, the class should end with this parenthesis. So since this class is not in this file, we also have the red line. You understand it because this class doesn't know the profile page. Likewise, the profile page didn't know the stateless widget. We had to import it before. So we need to also import this profile page from that class that we created into this class before this class or this main file can also see this profile page. So I'll put it on this cursor. I'll click on my bulb icon again. It will tell me I should import the file that we created. Sorry. So I will just import this file, and automatically it will create this one for me. Forget about the blue icons. The blue icons are normally, let's say, warnings or something like that. You can ignore it. I can just put the const here, and you just have to. So, but then we can still ignore these things. It will tell you to add const to the modifier, and this thing will go. So normally it will just tell you that do it, but then if you don't put anything there, nothing will happen. The red ones are those that are dangerous ones. You know, red means danger. So, but then you can ignore the blue ones. That it doesn't stop the application from running. So now let's go back to. So right now what we've done is when we've created a new project. When we click on run, it will start running our main app that we created. And this app, we've stated that this app, when you're running, please run the first page. The first page should be our profile page that we've created. That is all what we've done right now. So this profile page that we are going to open, let's see that this profile page opens correctly. But then what we have here is a container. So first of all, let's run this. Let's run this one. The container is an empty container, so nothing is there. So we are having a black screen. You understand? We are having a black screen as we did last time. So quickly, we have something called scaffold. We have something called scaffold. So I'll use a scaffold. Scaffold is like a skeleton. A skeleton that can give you the. So when I use a scaffold, we can now run this. And a scaffold will give us just an empty screen. So we will now have a screen. So a scaffold is like the skeleton of the whole application that will allow you to be able to build whatever you want to build on the screen. So last time we learned about scaffold, and the scaffold has got a lot of properties like the AppBar. So quickly I'll create an AppBar as we learned the other time. I will create so inside the AppBar, when I go inside the AppBar, I can say, okay, fine, let's give, so let's run this. So we have an AppBar right now, which is a blue. We can change the background color to, and when you change the background color, we use colors. We call colors, not color. So colors dot, let's say red, or let's say let's use the blue and go and change the. So when you create a color for Visual Studio Code, you'll be able to hover over this color. When you put the mouse on this color to give it a color palette, and you can now come here and select whichever color you want to select. So I want to select this dark blue, and now when I select it, I can just run the app again to change for me. That's how you can change colors. And now I will say that, okay, fine, I want to create a title. So here we come to today's class. We are going to learn about the text widgets. Last week last session we did something about text widget. That's fine. You guys will be able to create a text, and it's very simple. If you want to create a text or anything that you want to write on the application, we use something called a text widget. So if you want to write a whole lot, like if it's a news, you want to read everything on the page, all what you have to do is just call the text widgets. It's called text, and you just pass a string to the text. And I will say, let's say I will name it as my profile page. I'll be speeding a little bit because our time we have like just 1 hour, less than an hour. So I have my profile page today as my title. And remember, the title is a widget. That's why we created a text widget. And I remember I also told you that if you want to write anything on application, you need to use the text widget. Anything you want to write on your app, remember you have to use the text widgets. It has got a lot of properties. It has got something like the style. So it has got, if I click on control space, it has got key, local, maximum, lines, overflow, and all these things. Then those things that you'll be using, the property that you'll be using a lot is one, the style, the text align. So mostly you'll be entering into the style a lot. The style, when we enter into using custom fonts and other things, you will learn much about the text, the style. So let's do this. Assuming I want to change the style. So the style, if you want to call the style, let's go into this text class. You see that this text, the style it uses something called text style. So normally all the properties that you'll be calling, they already have this defined already. So you just look at it, what they require. So it requires us to use the text style. So I will do text style. And within this text style also, the text style also has got a lot of properties that you can also use. So it's like you have widget, everything is like widgets, and all the widgets have got like different things inside it. So right now we are in the text, and the text we just want to style it, and we are using the text style widgets or property. And this text style also has got a lot of things in there. So let me break this to the next line so that it can be seen properly. Let me do this. So the text style has got something called color. It will allow us to change the color of the text. So let's say yellow. You now see the color of our text has changed. Let's you do this so that the blue thing will go, and this one too. Let's ignore the blue ones and move on. We don't have time for that. So the text style has changed, and this text style also has got font family. This is what we normally use when we want to use a custom font or anything. And we have the font size. Assuming the size of the font that we have is not enough for us. Sorry, it's not enough for us. We can say, okay, 120. So 20 is okay. Let's say 40. So 40 like is big, but then we normally want to use what they give to us. So let's not bother ourselves. So we can ignore the style and just leave it as it is. Let's leave the fonts. Let's choose color white. Since we want the application to look nice, let's use the profile page. So this is our profile page. So this is how we create a text. And if you want to style it, I will leave you to go and learn more about the text. So the text has got a lot of properties that you can use. And now we have the AppBar, we have this one. Now let's close this AppBar. So we are still in the scaffold. The scaffold has got, the AppBar. It has got the body. These are the things that we are going to concentrate on. It has got the bottom, navigation bar. So these three things we are going to concentrate on. So now, assuming we are done with AppBar, I know you guys are giving an assignment on AppBar, you're able to do it. So I assume that now you are okay with AppBar. One thing you should also take notes is whenever, since we will be using these parentheses a lot, let me open this. When you click on this one, it will tell you that this is where the scaffold ends. And you see this / scaffold. So to comment there for you to see that this is where the scaffold ends. When I click on AppBar, it also highlight this one, that is where it ends. So whenever I'm doing anything inside the AppBar, it should be solely inside the AppBar, it should not come out of the AppBar. Likewise, when I was in the text, I was still within the text and working within the text. If I enter into the text style, it means I have to do whatever I want to do in the text style, not coming out. If you come and look for, like, let's say body in the AppBar doesn't have body. If I start typing body, it doesn't have any body, so you not see it. But the scaffold rather has body. So I will just come outside the AppBar. So the scaffold has AppBar, it has body, it has button navigation bar. So when I come outside this AppBar, I can bring my command here as it is here, and now start typing body, and the body will come. Today we are going to learn something new called column, and also another thing called row. We all know how columns and rows behaves, and when we talk of column is like a vertical arrangement of your widgets. And when we talk of rows, this one just a horizontal arrangements of your widgets. So basically, these things, columns and rows, both column and rows, they take a lot of widgets. So if you remember, we learned something about arrays. And arrays is like taking a lot of, let's say, objects in one particular data type. And this one, when we talk of columns are, so let's use, like, let's say column. And the column, this is how we call the column. So if you want to specify column, that is if you want to create a lot of widgets. You know, when I give you the assignment, I just told you that you can create a text here. And this text will just, let's say, hello. And it will create this for us. And automatically to create a hello hub here for us. And whenever I want to center it, we will click on this one to tell the object or the bulb that the intention action that should just center our text for us, and it automatically to center. Remember, this center object has got something called child. Since the center is a widget that takes another widget, and it can take only one widget at a time, the property is called child. But let's say for columns and rows, for them, they're able to take a lot of widgets. So for their property, it's not called child, it's called children. So everyday life, we know a child is one, and children are like many. So this center has got one property called one widget that I can take is called child. So a center has always got only one widget that I can take. But for columns and rows, they can take plenty, as many as you can put in there. So for them, they have a property called children. So whenever you call them, you call children, and now you can put all the children or the child that you think you can create there in there. So let's do this. So instead of we creating just one widget inside our body, and whenever you put this one, it means you can't put anything again in your body. So let's rather use column so that we can put a lot of widgets in there to decorate. And now, so when I create column, I'll call my children. So I'm now going to create all my children in here. Am I going too fast, or it's okay? Okay, cool. So I have my column, and inside my column, since it takes a lot of widgets, we call the children. So now we are going to create all the widgets here. So, you know, last time we learned about the text widgets, and now today we've learned about the text widgets. So I will create one widget called text. I will say I want to write something. So let's say image data, or let's say profile image. And this one is over here. So one thing we can also do is this column takes this whole body, that is from the top to down. And we don't want, anytime you put any widget in there, since it's taking the whole page of this body, that the widget is going to start from the, is it the left? Yeah, the top left corner. That's where it starts from. But then we want to at least give some space before the all the widgets comes. So what we do is we'll put our cursor on the column and we tell the action that, okay, fine, just put some kind of padding. Padding means some space in between that particular, the current widget and another widget that is near that widget that we are talking of. So let's put a padding around the column. And padding, when you call padding, the pattern is saying that, okay, fine, we use this keyword edge insert. It's a keyword that they will give you, Flutter will give you. And the edge insert to say, okay, all. That means from top, left, right, bottom, it should just give us like a space of 8.0. And when we run this, it will, you see that there's a space around the profile page, the top and the left. Likewise, if you write a lot, on the right, so it's going to have that kind of 8. It's going to have that kind of 8 and it will break. It will never get to that particular point. So if you want to specify, let's say, only, let's say, the top rather, to be, let's say, 10. And the rest, you don't mind. It means the left and the right and the bottom will still be 0. The pattern there will be 0. That means it will just get to the edge, but then the top will be 10. Likewise, I can say, okay, fine, let me do this to be 24, the top to be 24. The left side should be, let's say, 32. Let's say the right will be 32. And the bottom will be, let's say 10. And I run this. So we have this here. But if you don't want to worry yourself with specifying for each, you just use .all and you just put in one value and it will take for the whole size, that is left, bottom, top, right, and everywhere. So that's the pattern, so that it will give your children that you're going to define there. So currently we have one child in the column. So if I create another child, so comma, if I want to create another child, I'll just bring my comma and I'll just create another child. Let's say first name. You see that it has created and it is arranging it in vertical order. So let's create another one. So if you want to create another, please bring your comma. So this is how we create a column. The moment you call column, you can put a lot of widgets in there. And it should not be just one widget. It can be like, let's say, I can choose to say, okay, fine, this one can be icon. We learned about the icon class. You call icon and you call icons dots, whichever icon you say menu, and it will still be there. So this one takes any widget at all, any widget you can think of, any widget that you can think of. So just that it is going to arrange it in vertical order. So let's assume there's another widget called a container. This container is an empty thing that normally is a black thing, but then we can give it a color so that it doesn't look black. So let's say colors. Let's use the container so that it will look nice. So color dot, let's say red. So this container, and let's give it a height of, let's say 30 or 20. So this is one container we've created. Or that's one widget. Then we create another container. Let's say this one should be blue. It will also create that one in the vertical order. So any widget at all that you place in there is going to create. Sorry. So I'm going to do a green. So all these are widgets that you can create in a vertical order. Sorry. So if you want to create that, the reason why it's underlined means I didn't bring my comma here. So I need to bring my comma before you can create the next child. So let's do this. Let's say yellow. But then the column has got another property called let me come to this part, the main axis, and also okay, fine. Someone is asking a question. Sorry, if you've raised your hands, I may not see because I'm looking at the other screen. So if you have anything, you can just unmute your mic and just talk. You can unmute your mic.
I was asking if container is similar to div, as in like web HTML tags div.
Sorry, come again. Hello?
Yes, I was asking if container is similar to div.
Yeah. It's similar to div. It's similar to div, as we have div in divisions in web. So let's quickly do this now. There's another property called property of the column called the main axis. So the main axis is always there. Since it's a column, the main axis will be vertical. And another one called the cross axis. The cross axis of a column will be the horizontal. Likewise, when we take a row, since row is always horizontal, the main axis will be horizontal and the cross axis will be vertical. So always the main axis is the normal one for that particular widget, and the cross axis will be like the opposite or the 90 degrees of that. So the main axis alignment, it takes a property dot center dot end. So if you choose dot center, it's going to align all the children in the center. If you tell this dot, let's say dot end, it's going to place it at the end of the container. If you say dots, so you can just go and be playing with all this. If you say space around, the space around is going to make sure that there's a space around all the widgets. So there'll be a space before and after all the widgets. But if I say space between, it's what I'm going to put a space between the widgets, but then it will ignore the first and the last one, the space after them, or the space before the first one and the space after the first one. So let's see the space between. It's what I put a space between them and ignore the one before this and also after this. So that's how column also works. So I will leave you to go and experiment on the rows. If I change it to the row, let me say row. This thing because the height is here. Let me see if it's one. I need to change this to width. Yes, we need to change this one. Since we're using row, let's use it to be width. Take the comma. So it's the same thing that works with so you can arrange your things in a horizontal manner. You can as well also arrange your stuff in a vertical manner. So this is how it's been arranged. See, the first one, the first one was red, blue, green, yellow, but now it has 10 and it is being arranged in a horizontal manner. If I change it back to the columns, you see that the red will be first, and then you will have, let me change it back to column, and let's run this. It will now turn the other way around. So column and rows, they work like in the same fashion, just that one is horizontal and one is vertical. So if you look at some of the apps that some of you guys did in the bottom app bar, some of you created like a list of icons and arranged them in rows, and you just gave it space between or space around, and it was very nice. So let's quickly do that, and let me show you. So let's assume this body, and let's call the but then I know we will learn the bottom app bar into details later, but then I just want to demonstrate this to you. Let's create a bottom app bar, and let's call this one takes a child. And this child, what we are going to do is we are just going to create a row, and inside this row we are going to create our children. And these children, we are going to create a lot of icons. Let's say 4 icons. So let's say menu. This is our first icon, second icon, and the 4th icon. So let me say this camera, this, let's say notification, this, let's say edits. And now it will create this one for us at the bottom here, just that we've not told it to space them. So we can tell the row that, okay, fine, please use your main axis to just split them and put space around them for us. And automatically it will space them for us. And this bottom app bar, let's color it so it looks nice. Let's say the bottom app bar, sorry, the color. Let's choose colors. Let's say blue. Yes, and to space them nicely for us, we can also put padding. We can put padding around our main widgets, and let's specify the padding to be 8. Let's leave it like that. So it will look nice over here. So that's what some of you guys did, and that's how we create them. You can create a bar, put a row inside, put all your widgets there, and specify that you should just space them. So quickly, let's go to the image widgets, since our time is still ticking and it's almost up. So let's build our profile page. So instead of all these containers, let's delete them. So we don't have anything here. So let's create our image. So if you want to create an image, we have a lot of images. We have an image that you can load from the assets. When I talk of assets, assuming you've downloaded an image like PNG, JPEG, and you just place it into your folder, and you want to load that particular image into your app, that's where you place it into your asset folder. Normally, you create a new folder called assets, but then we will learn all those things. If you, let's say you've created an image, after you downloaded an image, and you want to bring it into your app and show it over here, you can place it into your assets. At times also the images are like HTTP, or let's say it's a link that you guys can go to, let's say online, and you load the image. So let's say an image that you can load over the internet, also that you don't need to download. You can just get the link and you just want to download the image and show it to the user. Like let's say WhatsApp, for instance, the profile, the statuses and the profile, the DPs, yeah, all those are links that normally it downloads onto your phone for you to be able to view. So let's assume you want to create an image. If you want to create an image, we have a lot of ways you can create images. You have the image widgets, just call image. And this image has got, let's do this, image dots. It will give us from assets. If you want to use from assets, that is where you've downloaded an image and you want to just load it from your folder, you can use this one. If you want to use a file, we'll learn it later. If you want to use memory, you can load it from memory. When it has been converted to a data type called byte, but we'll learn that one too later. But if you want to use the one that's the simplest one that you can load from the internet, let's use .network, image.network, and this network takes in a string. That is the URL of the, let's say, sorry, the URL of the image. So let's go online. Let me go online. Let me go online and get an image. Okay, Donald Trump. So let me see. You can just, so if you want to get an image, you can just go, normally go to Google. So let's type Google. Google opens, and any person you want to download his image. So let's say profile. Profile picture. And profile picture will come, and let me say I will go to images. Let's click on this one. So when you click on this one, it opens very big. You just right click on it and come to copy image address. So let's go back to our code, and now we come and paste the address over here. So let's try and see if our app will load this particular image. Okay, great. So our image is being loaded, but then you can restrict the size as well and everything. So everything you have access to, you can just do that. So let's see. So we have height of the image. So let's say I'll give the height, let's say 100. And I say width, also let's say 100 of our image. Yes. So we have the image. So let's try and say, let's see if we can center it. You click on this image. Let's click on this and try to center, whether to center as for us. Okay, great. So we have this image here. It has been centered for us. Let me see if we can get a round image. Okay, from about then we will learn how to convert our images into round, into round images later. So this is the image that we have. Now let me create. So I'm building the profile. So after this widgets, so let me do this. So after this widgets is one widget, just that we've just put the center around it. I'll just create another widget, and a column accepts a lot of widgets. So in our column, it's giving us children, and the children is like an array. Whenever you see this, it's an array that takes a lot of widgets. So I'm done with the center. You see, that's why the center, this thing shows that this where the center is. So I'll come after the comma and come and create text and say, what's the name of this profile I'm creating? This Helena Kuti. So automatically, Helena Kuti will be created. Okay, sorry, let's remove this one, the main acid or space between, so that it doesn't bother us a lot. Because the reason why there's space between, you see where the Helena Kuti is putting a space between Helena Kuti and the image. That's why it has divided this one into two. So we don't want to do that. We want our Helena Kuti to be under this one. So we just leave it like that and just say we run our code and Helena Kuti will be here. Okay, fine. You can bring padding around it so that to give you the space between here and here. But then normally we have something called size box. Size box is like an empty container that you can normally use for bringing a space. It's like bringing a space in between something. If you want to bring a space between two widgets, you call a size box and you specify the height, or let's say so size box, you specify the height. The height, that is the difference or the space between the two widgets you specified. So assuming I want the space between these two widgets to be, let's say 20. I'll just specify and it will bring a space for me. That's the usage of the size box. If you are in rows, you can specify width rather, and the width will also work for you. So I'm done with Helena Kuti. Now I'm going to create a row here. You can create rows in columns and columns in rows, like here and there. They are all widgets. So this row is going to take children for me. And this child, we are going to say, I'm going to create an icon, icons.person. And I'll run it here. I'll say icons dot, let's say, phone. And I will create another text. And I'll say +233 245 07680. And it will create this for me. If I want to space between the text, that's Helena Kuti, and my row widgets, I can bring another size box here inside it here, and it will space them for me. I can say 30 or 40. I want this 40 space. Yes. And I'm still not done. If I'm still not done, if I want to bring another space between the icon, that is the core icon, and my number, I can bring the same size box. Who can tell me the property I need to call to be able to space the icon and the text? Is it height or width? Hello? Is it height or width? So since we are in a row, the row is a horizontal, so automatically we are going to use the width. And we'll say that 20. And you run it, and it will give that space for you. So this is how all these are being done. So outside this row, I'm still inside the column. The column, we've created one, a text, a size box that has a space for us. We've created a whole row inside it as one widget for us, but then inside the row, we have different widgets in there. I can specify and say, let's do what again? Let's bring another widgets outside the text, or let's bring another space size box, and let's use our heights. Size box of, let's say, 30. And let's bring another new widget. Text. See my profile below. And now we have it also showing, see my profile below. So you can use this one to create your profile nicely. So I'll just leave you to go and create a nice profile. A nice profile, in fact, a nice profile that you come and just show it to me or you take a screenshot and send it to the page. Based on what we've learned, I want you to make use of the image, get any link from online, place it in here, give it some width and height. And now, based on what you want to do, based on the columns, rows, and everything, you can just put things together and create a nice profile. So I'll urge you to go and do this. And now I think we should be able to go. So far, so good. So what's if you have any question or anything to say, you can just bring it up before we close this session. I know I've been going a little bit fast because of our time. But if you have any question or anything, just bring it up before we close.
Please, can you explain the child and children? It was quite confusing at that.
Okay, cool. So the child in normal everyday life, child means one, and children means plenty. So when we take, let's say our, let's go to this body. Let's take this, for instance, the center. The center has a property called child because it can only accept one widget. So we can place any widget. It can be a text, it can be an icon, it can be image, anything. The moment it becomes child, it means only one widget can go in here. But then when the moment you say children, children means plenty child, right? Plenty widgets. And you can place a lot of, so this icon is one of the widgets, size box is a widget, text is a widget. So the rows and columns, they have children and they can accept a lot of widgets in there. I don't know if I've answered your question. Is it clear, or probably you need another clarification? James is here, he can also help.
Yeah, it's clear. Thanks.
Okay, cool. All right, any other question? Any other question? So let's see profile pages. Let me see one profile page that you guys can design. This is not clear. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me do this. I don't know how to be clear for you. Okay, cool. So let me pick this file and put it here. Sorry, let's stop. Can you see this? Can you see this screen? So I will let you go and design this screen. Forget about the star. You can use icon over there, any icon. So let's go and do this on the app bar. The app bar with a leading icon with an action. inside your body, you create widgets. You create your column with this. So let's quickly do this within 10 minutes, and the rest I'll leave it to you so that you go and do it. So let's go back to our code. It's 8:43 now. Okay, cool. So let's quickly do this. So let's go inside our AppBar. So let's crop everything. So assuming it's not always that we need so yeah, let me put this thing here. So let me put this design here. And now let's do this quick. The rest I'll leave it to you so that you go and work on it. We don't need this. We don't need a title for the AppBar. Okay, cool. So I'll be showing this here and there. So let's run this from scratch. So the color given to us is white, but then you can choose any color. Just be creative. You can choose any color, not necessarily the exact screen or what they have. So let's assume this one. And AppBar has got something called the elevation. You see, there's a shadow over here. There's a shadow over here. You can just set to 0. Sorry, 0. Automatically that thing vanishes and it becomes like nothing is there. And we can now bring our leading icon. Icons, or let's say arrow back. Let's see if it does it. And let's give it, since it's showing all right, but then since the background is white, we need to give the icon a color so that it can stand out. The icon to it is white right now. That's why it's not showing. So let's give the icon color, let's say orange. Yes, so this one is showing now. So let's go to the actions side. And actions is like row or column. But then actions works like perfectly like rows. So it has also got children in there that you can create a lot of icons over there. So let's create just one icon. Icons dot what was even the icon showing? So is it a delete or something? Or is it close? Let's see this close. So let's give it a color. So let's give it a color called colors. That's orange. Orange. Okay, you take this one. I don't know the icon for that, but let me see another close. James, you know the icon for that? Let me see close from there. Close. But then we can search for that one later. Close caption. I don't know the test. Yeah, let's take the close around it and see. Okay, so let's take this. Ignore it. And now let's go to the body. So for the body, if you look at this one, the body, they've arranged everything in a column. It starts from an image, and the text comes in, another text comes in. We can put icons over here and a whole lot of text. And the last one is just a floating action, but about there we will talk about this one later. You can put any icon over here. Just be creative. That's all. So let's do this. So let's create our column first so that they can take all the children widgets. and children inside here. So first of all, we'll create our image. That's network. So normally, if you want to do anything, so let me let me see. Do I have even there? I still have the link. Okay, let me go and create. Let me go and get the link. One of the links, the profile pages. Yeah, let me get this. Copy image address. Come back. Paste it here. It's not everything that you will, let's say, you will know. Always, if you want to do anything, just go online. Assuming this this image. Just go online. Let me run this image. Assuming I want to make sure that this image becomes circle, and I don't know how to do it. I just go online. I will say Flutter. First of all, you can use Flutter, make circle image or something. There's one particular so let's go to all. There's one particular site which is called Stack Overflow. It's one of the sites where whenever you want to do anything or as a developer, you can get help from. And this is called a Stack Overflow, how to do rounded corners image in Flutter Stack. So I don't want this, so we call something called circle avatar. You can go there, Flutter network image does not fit in circular avatars, blah, blah, blah. So you can go there and just use it. That's all. Like you can get help from there, so you can do this. I think it's called circle. Is it circle avatar or something? You can just type if it comes. Sorry. Yeah. If it works, you can just So you can just do it and make sure it's. You see, we have the circle avatar, but then it's not fitting into it. So you can just go there, assuming you want to check on it, make sure it runs properly and everything. You go there, you make sure it runs, and you get help from there. So for now, let's ignore the circle avatar. That's if you want to make the image in a circular form, 851. Okay, fine. So I think it's time. So I'll leave you. Go work on this and let me center this and design this particular page that I just put over there. I will send this page also on the WhatsApp page so that you try your hands on it. Make sure you use the column to design this page. If there's any question, you can bring it before we call it a close. Any question? All right, guys. So thank you for joining for today's lessons. Let's catch up on Monday. Monday, James will be taking you through another section of it. So let's catch up on Monday and make sure you're able to do this. You know, you have just few days, tomorrow and Sunday, to work on this. So try as much as possible to work on it before Monday, so at least we can have feedback that actually we are doing something. All right, thank you very much. James, do you have anything to add?
Oh, no, please. I'm okay.
Okay, all right. So thanks, guys, for joining. Let's catch up later. All right. Bye.
Bye.